Hello, everybody. Hello, happy. Oh God, why am I looking this way all of a sudden? Yes, hello, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hello, happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hi, Lilac. How are we all doing today? How are we all doing today, chat? So, apologies for being a little late today. Mainly just because of just tech issues. Just because my internet is a piece of shit. It's mostly just because my internet's a piece of shit. It conked out when I was trying to fire everything up. So it conked out whenever I was trying to fire everything up. And then my VTube Studio, because the internet's a piece of shit, the VTube Studio did not want to connect with my model. And that was something that just fell off of the shelf that was right above me. Oh, it was my Vistatosaurus. Okay. But yes, I'm fine doing some crafts. Nice, let's go. What are you making? What are you making exactly? Yeah, my little Vistatosaurus decided that it wanted to take a tumble. Also, I don't have any headphones now because, well, they all broke. So now I gotta go on Friday to get some new headphones. So, yay. See, Kusudama flower ball. Oh, I don't know what that looks like. Hang on, give me a second here. Hang on, give me a second here. Let me see what that looks like. So, let me see here. What is this? Kusudama flower. Kusudama flower ball. Oh, that looks cool. Yeah, that looks pretty. No, I can't wait to see what this looks like when it's done. So yeah. So I wanted to talk about some things that I saw over the weekend. And to be honest, I'm both saddened by this, but also not really surprised. Considering how this movie was marketed. Right? So how this movie was marketed was absolutely awful. And because of that, ticket sales were not that great. And what I'm talking about is that I'm talking about Transformers 1. So if we take a look here on TFW 2005, let me see here. So let me do this. Okay. So if we look at this, okay, so if we look at this, so essentially what this says here is that, and let me move OBS over to the other window. Okay, so what it says here is that Paramount confirms no plans for Transformers 1 sequel. And I am in the way, so let me scooch on over. There we go, chat. Okay. So, it says, reports are coming in. Oh, hang on. There I am. Okay. So, reports are coming in that director Josh Cooley has confirmed that Paramount currently has no plans for a sequel to Transformers 1. Which is a shame. Right? So, it's honestly a shame because of the fact that this movie was really, really good. Right? So the movie was really, really good. The problem with it was that the marketing for this movie was dog shit. They essentially set this movie out to die because the marketing for this thing, it really showed that they didn't give a shit. And this is why. So this can likely be attributed to its unfortunate box office underperformance. And it came out last year. With this and the fact that the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover movie has had no updates, the future Transformers movies at Paramount in general is looking shaky at the moment, which is true. So I'm gonna level with you guys about this kind of stuff, right? So far what we have discovered with Transformers movies. Oh, hang on. Why is it the comment section of another one? Why is it frozen all of a sudden? Why are you frozen all of a sudden? Why is this frozen all of a sudden? Okay. So there we go. Okay. Perfect. Where are we at here? Okay, here we go. Perfect. Okay. So, where was I? Oh yeah, so how the marketing went for this movie. Wait, I am being riddled with tech issues. Give me a split second here, chat. I do apologize. I will be right back, everybody. All right, chat. So, because again, my internet is an absolute pile of shit. Because it's an absolute pile of fucking shit. We're not. So we're just gonna go PNG for the remainder of this stream until I can fix VTube Studio. I just gotta. Hang on for a split second here, chat. Okay, chat. All right, so we're back, and it looks like, nope. Okay, hang on. Let me just go back to PNG. There we go. Yep, because for some reason my internet just does not want to cooperate today. So we're gonna go to PNG while I get this thing straightened out, because for some reason the internet does not want to. My PC does not want to connect to the internet. So with that being said. So the reason why Transformers 1 failed was mostly just due to the marketing, right? So the marketing for Transformers 1, also thank you for your daily park entrance. Thank you. But yes, so basically the reason why Transformers 1 failed is mostly just due to the marketing, where Hasbro essentially let this movie basically just let it die. Where they sent it out and they marketed this movie more so as this buddy kiddie adventure movie, and it didn't look very appealing, and a lot of the early promotional events for Transformers 1 were kind of that too. A lot of it was very, I would honestly say, a little bit uncanny with how they marketed Optimus Prime and Megatron, where a lot of the promotional images were their faces didn't look right. Yeah, their faces just straight up just did not look right. So, because of that, I think that's why a lot of people did not really did not really go see it instead of the Shakespeare. It really was. Like, the thing with Transformers 1, right? So the thing with it is that, basically, it was a movie meant for all ages, right? So, you know, kids and adults could really get a kick out of it. It had, like, some really goofy moments for kids, but it also had a lot of, like, really, really serious moments for adults to enjoy. And they handled the characters really nicely, too. To be fair, they looked weird in the beginning of the... It wasn't even like that. It was more, like I said, more of like how they did a lot of the promotional stuff, where I guess you could say a lot of shots, like earlier shots of like Orion and D16 looked very uncanny, where they kind of had like these uncanny valley faces with the 1,000-yard stare. Let me see here. Promotional box. Let me see if I can find a good example of this. I want to find a good example of this real quick, so that way I can kind of... I don't know. It also might have been just me. It might have also just been just me, if I'm gonna be honest. Let me see here. Early Transformers 1 promotional. Promotion. I can't find any. But you get the point though. So yeah, you get the point though. But no, like, it turned out to be a really good movie. In fact, me and my friend Kira, we were both watching it yesterday, and she really liked it. She doesn't know too much about Transformers, but she said she really enjoyed it, so that's a good thing. So I would say this is actually like a really good movie for people who are just getting into the franchise to use as a springboard into the greater franchise as a whole. And again, as much as I love the 1986 movie, don't get me wrong, I love Transformers 1986. I think it's a great movie. The problem with 86 as opposed to 1 is that going into the first ever Transformers movie, Transformers the movie, you would kind of need to know prior knowledge, because the movie was meant for the children at the time who were basically watching this movie as they were watching the show. So they already knew going in who Optimus is, who Megatron is, what an Autobot is, what a Decepticon is. They knew all of those things before going in. And 1 is a springboard for those who don't know. Like, Kira, I think she mentioned that she knows the basics of Transformers, right? She knows like the basics, but she really liked this, so that's a good thing. Now, if it had a better and also the other thing is, like, the toys as well were also not very good, because a lot of, well, people who buy Transformer toys nowadays are people my age and a little bit older, and so there weren't anything to go along with, like, say, Generations or, say, Studio Series that came in much later down the line, after the movie came out. After the movie came out and the damage was already done. Because a lot of the toys when Transformers 1 came out were very, 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 like, kiddie focused, very child focused, which, again, is fine, right? It's fine because, it's a toy line and all that, and it's a toy line aimed at a younger demographic towards a product aimed for children, which is fine. But that would have actually probably helped a little bit more. However, because of a lot of recent failures, such as Transformers 1, Rise of the Beast, barely made its money back. If not, just outright didn't. right? So if not just outright just didn't perform as well as they wanted. Mostly, I think, with audiences. And then other things such as Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes didn't work. And I think I think the Dungeons and Dragons movie, if I remember correctly, the Dungeons and Dragons movie barely also made back its money. It limped over the finish line by the skin of its ass. And I think goes for the same with the My Little Pony movie, because after these like string of failures, mostly from like Transformers 1, Snake Eyes, Dungeons and Dragons, Hasbro kind of is taking a back seat in terms of movies, which is kind of a shame. Also, sorry if I'm a little bit distracted. I'm also kind of like looking at my my internet as well, because it's bothering the hell out of me as to why this is the way that it is. I just chalk it up to the internet being a piece of shit, because it just can't connect to save its life today. Yeah, so it's just conking out. Okay, it's a good thing that I am connected to the router, but at the same time, my iPhone does not want to connect to the Wi-Fi at all. So great. Okay. Anyway, so as I was saying, so basically now Hasbro is wanting to not foot the bill exactly, right? So they're not wanting to foot the bill exactly when it comes to their movies. They're wanting to outsource their movies to other people, so that way they can make the movies, basically. As far as I'm concerned, which is a shame, because we will never see things like Transformers 1, and I can't really think of any other like main Hasbro movie that was out recently that did okay. Because I think most part, Transformers was always like the breadwinner when it came to Hasbro product movies. Especially things like the last few remaining Bayformer movies. Because Dark of the Moon sold like fucking gangbusters. Right? So Dark of the Moon sold like absolute fucking gangbusters in China. Now, this is also part of the time where, towards like the early 2010s, I want to say, is when China, for the most part, lifted their ban off of their movie embargo, their movie ban. However, if companies like Hasbro and a bunch of other people wanted to, so basically how Chinese movie stuff goes. Essentially, what happens is that if you want your movie to do good in China, right? So if you want your movie to do good in China, what you would do is that you would have to play ball to the Chinese. So Transformers, Transformers Age of Extinction, especially Age of Extinction, and also so Age of Extinction and Dark of the Moon. The reason why they did so well was because of the fact that they catered so heavily to the Chinese market. So things like they would have Chinese celebrities, they would have Chinese products, and in the case of Age of Extinction, their whole final act was centered around China. Now, the caveat to this is that if you want your movie to be, featured in Chinese theaters, you'd have to play ball by having things like Chinese products, actors, but also, when it comes to Chinese and media, the thing is that you can't make China look bad. You cannot make China look like the villain. You cannot depict China losing. You would have to make China look competent, the one in charge. You basically have to make everyone else look like a bunch of idiots. And that's the reason why Dark of the Moon and also Age of Extinction especially Age of Extinction did phenomenal in China. Yeah, and see, that's the thing, Excalibur, is that Transformers 1, I would say, is a good springboard for normies. It's a very good springboard for those who are just getting into the franchise. I mean, shoot, if, whenever I have kids, whatever woman decides that they are sane enough or absolutely crazy enough to put up with me long enough to have kids, Transformers 1 is definitely going to be the movie I will show my kids. So that's another good point. Let's see, we got to sell Chinese milk drink. Yeah, that's true too, but also it gets to the point where some of it's a little absurd. Especially when Marky Mark Wahlberg is in the middle of like bumfuck nowhere Texas with pedophile boyfriend and minor daughter in Optimus Prime, and minor daughter and pedophile are looking for products, and they just happen to find Chinese products in the middle of bumfuck nowhere Texas, and they grab the Chinese product and no other product else. It gets a little crazy, and it gets a little silly, like very fucking silly. But also Age of Extinction, to this day, I can't really watch sober. Seriously, what the fuck was Age of Extinction? It was half of it was Hasbro wanting the Chinese movie money. Part of it was a vanity project by Michael Bay, and the other half of it was Michael Bay throwing the equivalent of a temper tantrum, because Michael Bay said that he did not want to do any more Transformers movies. He said he was completely finished by Dark of the Moon. He wanted to leave. However, he also wanted to make a movie called Pain and Gain, which starred Marky Mark Wahlberg, and I think The Rock. And Marky Mark. And so he didn't really, I guess he didn't really want to pay for it. Sorry. So he went to Hasbro. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Hasbro went to him and they said, "Hey, we'll help you fund Pain and Gain, the movie that you want, but you have to make this movie for us." And it kind of shows, because so the Dinobots take up a large chunk of the promotional material. As you all know, the Dinobots took up a ginormous chunk of the promotional material, but they had only made like what, 5 to 10 minutes of the running screen time. And part of it was because of Michael Bay. Because Michael Bay went on to state that he hated the Dinobots. He thought they were stupid. So that explains why Grimlock and crew had no speaking roles and were shoved into the corner only to be brought out for like 5 to 10 minutes. That was it. So, and then of course we have the statutory rape plotline in Age of Extinction, which I don't know how the fuck that actually got passed. Like, who actually just sat there and said, yes, we need to make... Oh god, hang on. There we go. Yeah, so I don't know how the fuck that actually managed to get past, like, everybody in the building. Yeah, no, I hated it too, Excalibur. It was a thing. It was a thing, and it made me really look at the people who were involved with that, saying like, this is an oddly specific plot line, and it's really kind of creepy. So, who on the production team is into minors? Who on the production team is into minors? Because this is a very, 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 very specific plot line, and it's really creepy. Why couldn't she be adult? Exactly. Or why not make them both teenagers? Why the fuck not? It could have been like a story of a father, you know, struggling to, you know, make his daughter still be his precious little girl, and have him just shaking his fist and going, "Oh, I said no boyfriends until you're an adult." They go, "Oh, how dare." And just have wacky hijinks of, you know, a teenage son or a teenage boy trying to get the approval of like her father. That would have been funny. But no, we didn't get that. Let's see here. So I'm pretty sure random underage daughter was with she actually was. She was the same girl who played Katara in the really, really bad, god-awful Last Airbender movie. Not the new god-awful one, but the old god-awful one. The one that Shamalama Ding Dong made. Yeah, the Shamalama Ding Dong Airbender movie was where she started. And to this day, chat, I still don't understand how and or why people thought Shyamalan was this talented writer. I will say this, he only made like, what? 1 or 2 good movies, I would say. Hang on, let me check something real quick here, chat. Let me see here. Let me put on the Be Right Back screen real quick so that way I don't like show off anything that I'm not supposed to. Let me see here. Because let me see here, chat. But yeah, no, like I don't get it. Okay, so like Signs. I remember back in the day when I was just a wee little kid, right? I remember back in the day when I was just like a wee little child, and I remember people raving about the movie Signs, and people were saying, "Oh, you know, Shyamalan is like the next Steven Spielberg," and Signs was awful. Like, Signs was awful. The twist itself was fucking terrible. Nothing was good. I don't know why people thought he was great. But that's just me. Right? That's just me. Alright, so let me see here. I'm gonna try this one more time, chat. I'm gonna try this one more time. Because if not, I'm going to just go full PNG for the remainder of the stream. Yeah, I'm just gonna go full blown just PNG for the rest of the stream if shit just does not fix. Like it is like triggering my OCD. I will say it is triggering my OCD something fierce. Why are you making sure the phone and the internet of your PC are the same? Are you making... Yeah. Also, hi, Kurai. How you doing? Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that everything is the same on my PC. Like, the Wi-Fi is connected to the same Wi-Fi. It's just, for whatever reason, the tower does not want to respond. So, also, Kurai, can you give yourself a shout-out? There's a rumor we didn't get a book 4 when they were working on the movie. Oh, is that? Is that? I actually don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true or not. Also, Kurai, I hate you. I hate you, Kurai, because you and Damien are getting me into wanting to buy card games. Like, you guys are making me want to get, like, trading cards and shit. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy with yourself. Cope? How's that cope? How's that cope? That is not cope. I will have you know that is not cope. I will have you know that is not cope. Mainly because of the fact that they are having a Final Fantasy tie-in with Magic the Gathering, and as much as I hate Magic and I hate Hasbro, I kinda want to get it because it's Final Fantasy, and I think it's also like, I think it's just like Final Fantasy like overall, instead of just like good luck finding cards everywhere for the. Are they wait? Are they like selling out like? Are they selling out like crazy? Yeah, we're just gonna go PNG. We're just gonna go PNG. Okay, yeah, we'll fix this shit, and I'm gonna scream at the wall later. I would suggest just finding singles and buying them that way. Honestly, I might do that. I might do that, honestly. Yeah, I might do that, honestly. And the same thing goes for like, okay, so you and Damien have been making me want to get like cards and stuff to unbox on or I guess open up on stream. But also Kira has been making me want to get blind bags because she's always talking about blind bags. TCG doesn't have great selection unless you are. Oh. And see, that's always like the bad thing about like TCG is that you kind of have to like, because you kind of have to like get on it, or otherwise the aftermarket for it is fucking terrible, and also good luck trying to find anything after release. Also, thank you for redeeming your first. Things get bought up too quickly because how bad scalpers have gotten. Yeah, I think nowadays, if I'm not mistaken, I think nowadays like singles and whatnot, like, or hell, I think actually like the big boxes, you have to like go up to the front desk and ask for. I do have a few 100s, from. You have a few $100 cards from One Piece? What? What? There's already cards that are like over $100 now in One Piece? That's some crazy shit. Yeah, I pulled them from packs. I think I remember watching you unbox and pull out a couple of those. But I guess the One Piece cards are catching on really quick. Like, it seems like One Piece cards are like getting popularity now. Homie, One Piece has been around for 3 years, and has it really been out for 3 years? It has? I don't, well, granted, I also don't really poke my head out of my usual, like, hole when it comes to, like, what is what. Like, all the manga alts are $300 fucking dollars? Plus? Holy shit. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, we just hit the second Annie for English One Piece. Trying to celebrate their third? I need to see like what other card games are like getting really popular now. Like because I know there's like Yu-Gi-Oh. I know Yu-Gi-Oh is gaining. Well, I don't know. Is Yu-Gi-Oh still gaining in popularity, or did it just like plateau? Pokemon, obviously, Pokemon is still very mucho popular to the point where scalpers are synonymous with Pokemon cards. I've heard Digimon is getting up there too, but I don't see a whole lot. I pulled an alt leader that was running around $340. Dude, that's intense. Because I'm not gonna lie, Kurai. Yu-Gi-Oh's declining because it's too expensive and... Okay, honestly, Kurai, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Digimon is making a slow comeback. I've heard that about Digimon. I've heard Digimon like here and there's like it's almost like a freaking wave, right? So Digimon will slowly creep back up and then it'll go back down, and then it'll slowly go back up, and then it'll slowly go back down. At least that's what I've been hearing about like Digimon as a whole. Because when there's new Digimon anything, the hype is revved up, it happens, and then it goes back down, and then wash, lather, rinse, repeat. But yeah, like with Yu-Gi-Oh, I can see that, Kurai, just because of the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh decks go for stupid amount of money, and there's a lot more bullshit that goes on in Yu-Gi-Oh nowadays. The last time I really looked into anything that was Yu-Gi-Oh were kaiju cards. That was, I think, the last time I really gave a damn about Yu-Gi-Oh. And then I hear, oh, well, Grarl, now they got new dinosaur cards. Oh, that's great. Wait, what the fuck is a pendulum? The fuck is a hand trap? The fuck is all of this? What happened to just summoning your strongest card and that's your beat stick? Enjoy, have a happy day. No, now it's like tuners, synchros, fucking what, unities, I guess. Unity, I guess, is a thing. Pendulums, hand traps, and then like there's hand traps, there's normal traps, and then I don't know. There's like erratas now too. There's retrains. It's like, bro, this is just too damn much. It's so too damn much. I'm just gonna watch. But the artwork for Yu-Gi-Oh is still pretty as fuck though. Like it's still pretty to look at. Magic though, I don't know how I feel about Magic. Like I don't like Magic just because it just feels like it's like the Fortnite of trading cards. Right? Like almost every other month Hasbro is just shitting out one collab after the other with Magic. Let me get you a clip of one of my most expensive. Yeah, please do. I want to see. I do wish to see. Ooh. I'm actually curious now with Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm curious. I'm actually, actually the funny thing though, chat, right? So one of the funny things about Yu-Gi-Oh is that one of the very first VTubers I sat down and watched back in the day, I wouldn't say like sat down and watched, more of like I watched him from time to time. This one runs on TCG Player. Oh, okay. I am standing by in Discord. Let me see here. Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, that's gorgeous. The hollow and texture on it is so gorgeous. Yeah, no, that's beautiful, Kurai. Like, that's genuinely so fucking pretty. Like, yeah, no, that is absolutely stunning. I would, if I were you, I would try to see if I can at least get the artwork of that thing, blow it up a little bit, and frame it. Like, sincerely, just frame the damn thing. Because that just looks like a, like, that literally looks like something I would put in my living room. Let me send you another pic of it in the sun. Oh, I gotta see what this looks like. Yes, please. Yes, please. Also, chat, did you know that apparently in Pokemon cards, they are re-releasing older cards? I straight up did not know that. And I'm talking about, like, the cards from, like, when I was a boy. Like, when I was a young kid. And you had, like, the original, like, Pokemon cards and their artwork and whatnot. I didn't know that. I, like, legit didn't know that. And then I'm just seeing, like, I think it was, like, I think I saw it at, like, at a comic book store. Right? I think I saw it in a comic book store. And I saw a lot of these, what I thought they were Pokemon cards from, like, the 90s out on display, but no. They're Pokemon cards from, like, I think, like, a couple of years ago. Right? It's so weird. But then again, I would imagine that they would just do that anyways, just because of, like, well, we've pumped out so many fucking cards, then yeah, I guess we can. I guess we can kind of do that here and there. But that's still kind of cool though. You can see the textures too in the one that I sent. Okay, let me take a look at it. Oh yeah, no, that is gorgeous. Okay, Kurai, you know what that actually kind of reminds me of? You know what that actually kind of reminds me of? Just looking at the card. Have you ever seen the TikToks or, like, Instagram videos of the people who make, like, full-blown artwork out of one little card? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Because that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of, like, those TikToks of, like, people making, like, these beautiful, like, almost like little mini paintings out of, like, one little card. Like, they just continue the background. Like, were they shadow box it? Yeah, those ones hurt me a lot because they usually do it to super rare cards that are really hard to get. Oh, wait, are they really? Do they really? Because okay, that's shitty. That's actually shitty. Wait, let me actually look at it real quick. See here, Pokemon. Let me see here, Pokemon card art painting. Is that the term for it though? Is shadow boxing? Because for the shadow box ones, you need at least 10 of the cards, and you cut them out. Wait, like they look really cool and all, but man, you just ruin it for people. Wait, hold on, let me see here, because I've never heard the term shadow box, but then again, I also don't know a whole lot of terms for, like, let's see here, shadow box cards. No, 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 no. Okay, so that's not what I'm. Okay, so that's not what I'm talking about. I have seen those before. I have. Now you're talking about the painted ones. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No, I just googled like the shadow box ones. Those are the ones that I have seen at cons, and they charge like $25 for them. Because I see one that's like a holographic Charizard, and that just hurts because they're so hard to get. Yeah, I'm not a. Yeah, they look cool and all, right? They look fine and all, but yeah, no, I can't. I genuinely can't. But the painting ones, yeah, I've seen them do like that with like common cards, or at least ones that I think are common. Yeah, or at least the ones that I think are common cards. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that one. But let me see here. Let me see here. What is also... Oh, so I want to kind of show this off. So I've been kind of like stalking this guy for a while, right? So I've been stalking this dude's progression about a clone trooper helmet that he's been making. And he makes it out of cardboard. And I think that's really cool. Because I have dabbled, right? So I have dabbled a little bit in like cardboard like cosplay making. And this dude actually makes some really, really good stuff. Let me see here real quick if I can. Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let me see here. Like, this stuff is so flippin' cool. Okay, here we go. So this is like the progression of like him making like a full-blown clone trooper. Wow. Hi Rama, how you doing?
Phase 1 clone trooper helmet for a really
This is really cool.
Now, I have made one out of cardboard before, but that was a while ago, and it was in the Clone Wars style. Today, I'm getting started on one based off of Attack of the Clones, which may not be the greatest Star Wars movie, but it does have some of the coolest character designs out of the entire franchise.
It really, okay.
This is the very beginning step.
Okay, I will say that about the prequel trilogy, right? I will say that about the prequel trilogy, is that they have a lot of really cool designs and a lot of really cool like a lot of cool looking characters. Not cool characters, but cool looking ones, because let's face it. Let's face it. Half the character development in the Clone Wars movies are about as deep as a puddle made out of cardboard.
Work left to do. But you can see I have a good side and front reference for this helmet, along with a few other parts showing key dimensions. So this skeleton is ready to be filled out. I've wanted to make a Phase 1 clone trooper helmet. I've finally finished prototyping.
Like, I've been stalking this dude's progression. Like, it's really good.
As you might be able to tell, what I've built so far is only half the helmet, so the next step is to take it all apart. This might seem very counterintuitive, but I promise you, just trust the process.
And it's making me want to, like, go back and, like...
The helmet broken down into its individual parts,
yeah, it's making me want to go back and, like, make cosplay stuff again.
Transferred to cardboard and cut out, the initial prototype of half the helmet has
yeah, it's really cool.
And now, I have all the final pieces of the helmet, left and right side. Now the fun part begins, and it's time to build this helmet. I've finally finished prototyping my cardboard Phase 1 clone.
And then...
It's always been a dream of mine to build a Phase 1 clone trooper helmet to add to my...
I'm not gonna lie, that's always been like a dream of mine too, is to own like a Phase 1 clone trooper helmet.
I start building the final helmet. For the structural integrity of this model, I attach all
yeah, Excalibur, it's not mine.
Ensures that everything
it's not mine.
Don't worry, this will be removed later, and the helmet will be wearable. To show you how accurate this thing is, here's the
Oh, well,
helmet
I'm
compared
sorry,
to the scaled
Ranma.
reference
Well,
image.
come on in here and get comfy because we're
I'm
going to be
really
doing this
happy
stuff
with how
today.
This helmet is coming together so far, and it's at this point in the build process when I start looking forward to seeing the finished product. This project has been super straightforward to put together, especially because of all the prototyping work I did in the previous part.
This is so
Now that I'm done building
cool.
the helmet, the next step is to strengthen the cardboard. Stay tuned. It's always been a dream of mine to build a Phase 1 clone trooper. I'm done constructing my Phase 1 Clone Trooper helmet, which means it's time to strengthen the cardboard so it can actually withstand some force. To do that, I'm using fiberglass resin.
Oh,
It works really
okay.
well, turning the otherwise flimsy cardboard into something somewhat strong. I say
Okay,
somewhat because
so
the
when
majority of
when I was trying to do like cosplay props and stuff like that out of cardboard, I for the life of me could never figure out how to make it hard. Like I could never figure out how to make them like hard enough for like actual use. And I tried a lot of things, right? So I tried things like I tried paint and I tried Plastidip, which is kind of like a spray paint in a way, but it's supposed to make things a little bit more harder. But Plastidip didn't work. So I don't know. I just kind of just gave, and also thank you for the hydration and the posture check. There we go. Okay.
the strength comes from a step later on, but this one coat of resin will suffice, and the helmet can support itself now, so I can finally remove the inner core that has been keeping everything in place this whole time. There we go.
That
One
looks
step
really
closer
good.
to being wearable. Before I strengthen,
Nope.
there's a problem with my cardboard clone trooper helmet that I need to tackle. It doesn't fit my head. Knowing I would have to cut off the bottom for it to fit, why did I build it this way? You see, in the
And see,
prequels,
I
all the
didn't
clone
realize
troopers were
this.
entirely CGI.
So I didn't realize this until he brought this up. Was that little ring right there? Yeah, because I don't know how a person is supposed to like fit their head through that.
Meaning that the armor didn't have to fit a real person. One major problem with this was how weird some of the proportions were, specifically with the neck hole for the helmet.
Yeah, no, like the head would pretty much be kind of tiny in order for you to like fit your noggin around that ring neck, or the neck ring. I'm sorry. I'm loving the way that the Alchemist Prime Twiax looks. Nice, let's go.
Helmet, which no normal head could reasonably fit through. Even knowing this, I want this helmet to be accurate, so I'm including the neck ring, but it'll be removable. With the neck ring cut off, I then cut it in half so I can fit it on either side of my neck. Now that
Oh, see,
everything's
that's
separated,
smart.
I need to find a way to get it all back together. To do that, I'm using some magnets, positioned end over end and glued on. In total, I think I used 40 magnets, which is quite a lot, but
I will say that though, like for cosplaying,
the neck ring
magnets are your
now
best
pop
friend.
on and off easily, but
Like,
also
it-
stay
they're
in place
genuinely
for
like
months.
your best
So,
friend.
For the first time, after working on this helmet for 3 months, I can put it on. Luckily it fits, and problem solved. Next up, I need to start smoothing out the helmet. There's a problem with my cardboard clone trooper.
Also, we're about to have an ad break in about 10 seconds.
Finally time to start smoothing out my cardboard clone trooper helmet. To do that, I first sanded it down, then applied this stuff, Bondo. Bondo is an awkward filler for fixing car bodywork.
Oh, I
but it
love
actually works
Bondo.
pretty well in this case.
Oh, I love
covered the
Bondo.
whole helmet in a thick layer of it, then after it cured, I sanded it all down.
Oh, Bondo's
My
so
mouse sander
good.
does speed up this process quite a bit, but it also does produce an insane amount of dust. After dealing
I've
with
tried
that, I hit the
Bondo a
helmet with
couple of
thick coat
times.
Filler primer. This process is pretty long and requires several rounds of filling and sanding.
Oh, that
It's
actually
definitely
looks
my least favorite
so
part of
good.
helmets, but it's essential that I take my time in order to get the best finish possible. Towards the later stages of sanding, I'll do it by hand, just so I have more control. I think the helmet looks pretty cool as it is with the sanded down look, but unfortunately, I gotta cover up this cool pattern with another coat of filler primer. At this point, the helmet is pretty smooth, but it's not quite ready for the final paint job, since I still have to add a few more details. It's finally time to start. My cardboard
Oh
clone
my
trooper
god,
helmet
this
is almost
actually looks
ready for its final
really,
paint
really
job, but
good.
there are a few things I need to fix first. You see, I noticed there's a panel line along this edge in my never-ending analysis of Attack of the Clones. So
That
of
is
course, I had
that
to
is
add
some
that to my
insane
helmet.
attention
After
to
that, To smooth
detail.
things out even more, I hit the helmet with some red filler primer. This stuff is basically the same thing I used in the last video, but it looks a whole lot cooler. I almost forgot this one detail at the back, which, if I'm being honest, I have no idea what it's supposed to be. It does look cool though, and if any of you know the in-universe explanation of this detail, let me know.
Yeah, what
With
is
those
the
last few
inverse,
details
like,
added,
answer
I
to
wet
that?
sanded the whole helmet just to get things really smooth. I really love the orange
That
look
looks
of the helmet
good,
here,
but I
and it
don't
really reminds me
have
of those
the-
special ops clone troopers
but I
in
don't
the
have the
Geonosis
ventilation
arc of the
necessary.
Clone Wars.
I-
Unfortunately, though, I have to paint over
think-
this cool look with some.
I think it's this right here that would be your ventilation.
gray
Oh, that's
primer,
it.
which
Okay,
will
so
act as a
we're
base
up
coat
we're
for
up
all
to
the
date.
feature colors. After all that filling, sanding, and priming, this helmet is ready for its final paint job. The next step is to mask off certain areas, and then we'll paint it all white. My cardboard clone trooper helmet is almost ready for its final
Okay. Yeah, that's so
paint job, but
so
there are a few
good.
things I need to fix first.
But yeah, like the little panel line right there is an
See, I noticed
absolute
there's a
insane attention to
panel
detail.
line along this edge in my never-ending analysis of Attack of the Clones.
Okay, so chat, so funny enough, right? So funny enough, a clone trooper is actually like on my cosplay bucket list. I've always wanted to cosplay as a clone trooper. Wait, what? Wait, what are you talking about, Ranma? Wait, what are you talking about? Because I was talking about the ventilation in the helmet. But yeah, so like that was always on like my cosplay bucket list. But for the life of me, I could never figure out like where to go to for like clone trooper helmets. Right? I could never figure out where to go for them. And so sadly I'm just like, you know, I don't think it will ever, I don't think it will I guess it'll never be meant to be for me to cosplay as a clone trooper. And that sucks. I was saying that the panel lines I've been seeing people create on their gunpla. Oh no, well see, Ron, what I was talking about was the clone trooper helmet panel lining, because that is an absolute insane attention to detail. Like the guy didn't need to do that, right? The guy did not need to like put the little panel line on his helmet's chin. But he did it anyways, and that's a really, really insane attention to detail. And also, because I would go over like Hobby Link Japan stuff, but there's really not a whole lot. There's really not a whole lot going on with Hobby Link Japan, I will say. It's kind of a slow day in terms of like model kit news. Or I should just say like toy news in general. It's been kind of a slog kind of day. So I mean, like if I could probably check. Let me see here real quick. So let me look up T-Spark real quick. Yeah, because I don't think there's really much of anything. Yeah, there's really not much of anything right now in terms of like, well, in terms of like the stuff that we like, chat. So like Zoids and Gundam and stuff like that. I don't think there's really much at least to my knowledge. So yeah, it's just been kind of a slog kind of day. Okay, but what about one? You know what, Kurai? Let me check real quick. Just for you. Let me check real quick. Let me see here. Let me see what's on Hobby Link Japan in terms of One Piece. Because there's a ton of Nikkei figures that are up for pre-order, but because Daddy Bezos does not like sexy things, we can't look at Nikkei. Let me see here real quick. Let me just type up One Piece. Let's see here. Let's do release date. Okay, I type in One Piece on Hobby Link Japan and I get everything but One Piece. I get everything but One Piece. Okay, hang on. That might be a little too broad. Let me just click on a product real quick, and there we go. Let me sort it by release date. Well, hang on. Okay, so all right, here you go, Kurai. Let me sign out of my HobbyLink Japan account so that way it doesn't show my address and or IRL name, because I don't want the same incident to happen again, because that's what happened with one of the VODs, and that's why it's not published. Okay, so for One Piece. Hi, LK, how you doing? All right, so for One Piece, for Kurai, here is the offerings on HobbyLink Japan. So for right now, in terms of One Piece, I'm doing good. Right now, we're just kind of going over like One Piece stuff. A lot of it right now, we have a lot of like drawstring mesh bags. And they go for about 12 bucks a pop. And then we got this really adorable little like chopper figure. And I guess it's part of a line. Like Kurai, you might be a little bit of an expert on this one. But yeah, I guess it's part of like this little line of like little tiny chibi One Piece figures. And they look really adorable. And this is coming out in December of this year, and it's going to go for about $31.23. Let me see if I can find the Law one, because that's Kurai's favorite. Let me see here. But yeah, Kurai, I don't know if you've been on HobbyLink Japan, because they actually have a ton of One Piece stuff. In fact, actually, let me see here. Let me do stock status, and then let's do all future releases. There we go. Yeah, a lot of the stuff is you can't pre-order it anymore. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff you cannot pre-order anymore because the pre-order windows is done. Yeah, a lot of the pre-order stuff here is closed, which kind of sucks. Although I'm not gonna lie, some of this stuff is making me want to get like one of these for you for Christmas, Kurai. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm actually might reserve something for you for Christmas this year. Oh, wait, hold up. Hold up. Wait, is Punk Hazard the new arc? Yeah, is Punk Hazard like the new arc in One Piece, or is it not? Because I kind of checked out of One Piece after the Wano arc. So, correct me if I'm wrong if that's true. Because I've heard some talk about Punk Hazard. But yeah. Like I said, like in terms of like figure stuff, it's kind of a slow day. It's kind of a little bit of a slog. I guess we could probably watch like some like memes and whatnot. Let me see what is a good video that we can actually like sit down and watch. Let me see here real quick. Let me see here. What can we watch real quick? Oh, wait, hold up. Oh, Kurai, I just saw your message. I just saw your shadow box message. That's actually kind of cool. Now, Kurai, is that like one of the cars that go for like a lot of money or no? But yeah, so let me see here. What can we watch? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see something real quick. Let me see something. I want to look at something real quick on Toku Nation. Because I just saw some like figure. Oh wait, no, never mind. I was gonna say I think I saw some figure news on like Toku Nation, but no, it was like a Batman versus, or not Batman, but Superman versus Godzilla set. What I'm trying to find like an actual like good like video that we can sit down and watch. Oh, that was another thing. Okay, so I just now saw this. So I have been like really into Epic the Musical. I finally like cracked down and I was like, all right, I'm going to give Epic a try, because I hear so many people talk about Epic the Musical and how Epic is like this really good like musical number. It's good. It's amazing. You know, you gotta check this out. Oh my god, Grarl, like you gotta listen to the music. It's really good. Yeah, no, it's good. It's really good. I don't know if I can play some of it on Twitch. I mean, I probably can, right? I probably can, but I also have YouTube, and I don't know if the VOD will get spanked for it, because I know that's what happened last time when I went to go and try to look at like some nice little walking videos. I got spanked for it. So, but yeah, Ruthlessness is really good too. I really love that song. Oh, hang on. Give me a second here, chat. There we go. I accidentally unplugged my headset. Okay. But yeah, no, I guess we could like listen to like some of it. But yeah, no, it's okay. I was also at work when I was listening to the entire soundtrack of Epic. I like listened to the entire soundtrack of Epic at work, and I'm not gonna lie. The last song of Epic actually kind of made me cry. I think it was what was it called? I think it's called like "Would You Still Love Me?" I think is what it was called. Yeah, I think it was called "Would You Still Love Me?" or something like that. That song like legit just made me fucking cry. Let's see here. Epic the Musical. And honestly, I will say this. I think my favorite song. Okay, so if I had to list my top, if I had a
little baby man.
Thank you. But if I had to honestly list like my top, like my top 3 songs from Epic, number 1 would probably be Ruthlessness. Number 2, I think would be Full Speed Ahead, or yeah, I think it's called Full Speed Ahead. And then number 3 would be the Cyclops song. I think that one was I honestly think the Cyclops song was really good. And then I've been told that there are some people that are doing like little animations for the songs, and I need to hunt these down and watch them. God's Games was okay. I enjoyed it, but Polyphemus, that's his name. Yeah, Polyphemus. Yeah, so Polyphemus was just really good. It was just dark and foreboding, and just it kind of set the tone for the monster. Get in the Water was good too. Get in the Water was good. Fuck it. Hang on. I'm just gonna pause this real quick. Let me see if I can play Ruthlessness. I'm just gonna play Ruthlessness. Fuck it. Yeah, there we go. And the cool thing about all of this, chat, is that it's based off of Greek mythology, which I am a huge slut for. And like everyone sounds so good. I had to play a little bit because I'm not sure if that's gonna be enough for Twitch to mute my VOD or that portion of it. But yeah, no, just oh my god, it was so good. Yeah, you took my sheep, my favorite sheep. Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, I was actually like watching like little pieces of movies of Polyphemus. And it kind of made me laugh a little bit. So the reason why I'm kind of laughing at Polyphemus and like just Cyclops in general is because of the fact that the legend and the myths of Cyclops or what would you say the plural is, like Cyclopi? Not Cyclopean. That's another thing. Cyclopses? Cyclopi? But yeah, so the myth of the Cyclops, Cyclope. Okay, thank you. Let's see here. There is a. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it just because like I'm not a fan of SpongeBob. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like SpongeBob. I'll take your word for it, but I will never look that up. But like, so the legend of the Cyclops actually comes from the ancient Greeks finding elephant skulls. Yeah, so things like Cyclopses were basically misunderstood elephant skulls because they just didn't know where the fuck the trunk went. And they just see this big giant hole in the middle of its forehead. So they just put two and two together and go, oh, this must have been a monster that was, 12, 15 feet tall, if not more. And he had one big giant eye. And the funny thing is that I think with unicorns also come from like an animal you wouldn't necessarily expect. So things like, if I remember correctly, the myth of the unicorn came around. I think it depends on what region, but the consensus is that it came from the legend of like different types of African like antelopes, and they would tie their horns together, if I remember correctly. Because just about every culture has like a different interpretation of a unicorn. But that's kind of like the consensus, is that it came from like an African like antelope or something like that, and they just tied the horns together. Now, you could also be kind of fucking weird and be like, well, we saw something really, really sexy in the water, and it was a mermaid. It only turns out that, no, that mermaid was actually a manatee. Yeah, that is actually where the legends actually not where the legends came from, but yeah, somehow some sailors thought this big fat cow, right, this big fat sea cow was this beautiful, like, seductive woman of the ocean. It's kind of funny. If you really want to think about it, that shit's kind of fucking funny. And then, like, because, like, the other things are, like, I really love, like, the symbolism in Greek mythology. Like, take the Hydra, for example. If I remember correctly, the Hydra was supposed to represent, I think it was supposed to represent, like, men's sexual drives. It's a weird one. Let me see here. Let's see, Hydra meaning. Let's see here, blah, 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 blah. Let me see here real quick. Let's see, the Lernian Hydra, interpretations for the freshwater Hydra. The freshwater Hydra is a simple freshwater animal named after the mythical creature due to its similar appearance. Okay, yeah, what does the Hydra symbolize? Okay, so it doesn't represent the sexual thing, because I heard that somewhere in a documentary, but no, it says here, overwhelming challenges and resilience and the persistence of chaos, and its regenerative abilities also represents problems worsen the many more they directly tackled. Additionally, the Hydra can symbolize the vices or negative aspects of human nature. Okay, so I was kind of right on that one. Yeah, so I was kind of right on that one. It says here, the vices of human nature. Some interpretations suggest the Hydra's heads represent the multiple vices or negative aspects of human nature. But yeah, it's just kind of cool, like, with how a lot of these Greek mythologies are just, like, how the Greeks interpreted, like, the world around them in a way that makes sense and also kind of fantastical. And it kind of showed, and I'm not gonna lie, so it kind of showed, like, kind of how gullible Greeks were back in the day, because you could sit there and say, oh, well, I fought this, there's this giant multi-headed dragon lizard snake thing in the middle of the bog, and that's the reason why people go, you know, missing instead of just being an idiot and they don't know how to read maps and they just get lost and die. Or where do scorpions come from? Oh, well, the scorpion comes from, because, like, the scorpion, yeah, Hydras are so cool. Yeah, Hydras are really cool. Or it's like saying, like, scorpions. It's like, because scorpions already are kind of nasty little animals. And you can sit there and be like, oh, well, scorpions come from this one monster. You cut off his hand, and his hand, because he is so vile that it turned into a hideous scorpion. And people will believe it. It's just funny how that works back in the day. Because you could just 2014 Hercules moment. Yeah, no, but I'm using that as like an example. Now, I did read somewhere down the line that people misinterpreted, like, things like the Protoceratops as a griffin. I don't see that. I've seen a lot of people bring that up in conversation, which I don't see that, because there's way too many there's too many differences in order for you to squint your eyes and go, oh yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. If anything, the griffin just comes from, like, combining Megalodon were considered dragon's tongues. I can see that, because it does look very tongue-like. I think it's its beak. I think it's its beak as well, but I think, like, with the griffin, because the griffins are supposed to be an kind of like an allegory / like a representation of, like, two of the mightiest things of their respective nature, because to ancient Greeks and Egyptians, the mightiest things on land were the lions, because the lions were the king of the animals, and eagles were the kings of the sky. So you put them together, and bada bing, bada boom, you have an animal who is the king of both worlds. were wolf size. Yeah, and a protoceratops is not a wolf size animal. If anything, it's the size of, I think, like, what, a pug or a pig. Yeah, eagles did represent Zeus. But what I'm saying, though, is that, like, the griffin is just kind of a mishmash of, like, two basically, like, regal representing animals. The mighty of all creatures, the small ceratopsians. Yeah. Well, it's just kind of funny to think that, like, ceratopsians and tyrannosaurs have, like, these very humble beginnings, where both are, like, these very tiny, like, child to, like, sheep-size animals, and then they just grow into giant monstrous powerhouses. And it's funny with the tyrannosaurs is that they took the characteristics that they retained from when they were smaller and just cranked that shit up to 20, and they kept it, and that's terrifying. Because normally, sometimes, like, take the ceratopsians, they lost that. They lost that agility and nimbleness when they became, like, giant living beef tanks. But the tyrannosaurs, no, they just took them and, like, alright, we're just gonna adapt that to a bigger animal. Alright, we're just gonna take that and just give it to a bigger animal. Just to show you that tyrannosaurs are just the or some of the peak definitions of the word disrespect. And I love that. Also, hang on real quick. I will be right back. I need to let my dog out real quick. So, hang on, chat. All right, chat. Okay. And we're back. Okay. Yeah, see, I always thought that they made him look bigger. But yeah, I never thought that they would be like wolf size. And yeah, I think it is mostly just because of the fact that media basically just over exaggerates griffins. And they're like these big, giant, majestic, beautiful creatures. Yeah, media does like 100% of the time. Oh, absolutely. Like with a lot of animals, media likes to just go absolutely fucking hog wild with them. There's only such room to paint on a face. True. Media over-exaggerates everything. They do, yes. Absolutely. Like, without a doubt that they do. In cases like, say, like crocodilians and sharks, yeah, they tend to over-exaggerate their features and turn them into monsters, which sadly, because of that, people just automatically just want to try to kill sharks and crocodilians because they just think they're mindless, they're dumb, mindless monsters, which is not the case at all.
Oh yeah, so hot.
Who goes there? Zap, whoa!
But
With
yeah.
a wave of my finger and a flick of my dick, one zap from me will kill you quick, so
Hang
get
on,
on your
chat.
knees to suck and blow, but not right now, I've got to go!
Fuck, I hate when he rhymes.
Okay. But yeah. And it's always a shame because like crocodilians, especially crocodilians, they're really, really like misunderstood animals because they're really smart. Like, granted, they're not as smart as say ravens, but they're smart enough to know like their names. They're smart enough to know commands. Like, they're smart enough to, show personalities and shit like that. So like they're pretty smart. Yet dangerous. Yeah, they're smart and yet dangerous. They're almost like in the same vein, like in terms of reptiles. Crocodilians are the same as like monitor lizards, like the squamates, right? So with monitor lizards, they are ungodly smart for reptiles. Like they are like crocodilians in that they show personality, they can answer to names, calls. I don't think they are capable of doing tricks. But yeah, so they're pretty damn smart. Also, I wanted to show this off because I just saw this on Viz Media. And it made me kind of realize, like, it kind of made me think, like, wait, is Beyblade still going? Because apparently, there's a new Beyblade manga. There's like a new Beyblade manga. And I just want to sit here and say, yes, they're coming out with a new anime. Where have I been? Where have I been? Because look at this fucking goof. Like, look at this shit. Wait, hold up. Like, what is up with, like... Hang on, there we go. What is up with, like, fucking Owlhead over here? Like, what is up with, like, fucking Owlhead over here? What is up with this dude's hair? Fun fact, Fossil Fires had a manga. Did they really? Oh yeah, that one. Yeah. This looks like it looks like a thing. The most thing-looking thing you could think of because yeah, like I still can't get over this dude's forehead. Like God fucking bless. You could probably land this chopper on his forehead. Like that's probably like a third billboard right there. That's free real estate to put free advertisement on there. I'm not gonna lie, this looks like a VTuber persona. I'm not gonna lie, this shit right here, this kid, this little doof, this dude looks like a VTuber persona. I don't know who, but he does. She also kind of looks like a VTuber. Again, I don't know who, but she looks like she would be the comfy, chaotic VTuber. And she just looks like a straight up Yu-Gi-Oh reject. She straight up just looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh reject. Like, she looks like someone from, like, later half Yu-Gi-Oh animes, like, I don't know, 5Ds. Now, she looks like someone who didn't go past the cutting room floor. And he looks like... I don't know what the fuck he looks like. He also kind of looks like I would see something like, say... Also probably from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of the crazy... balls fucking crazy ass hair. Yeah, free parking. You could literally drive a tank on that forehead. With room to spare. I would love to draw tic-tac-toe on his forehead. Please, give me some darts. I need to put like a little bullseye on it. I'm way too mean to this character than I should be. I'm moving on because I am way too mean to this guy's forehead. Also, I didn't realize there was 5 characters. There's girl, Anna, VTuber, Yu-Gi-Oh! Protag, and forehead. Okay, I'm moving on. I am moving on before I start ripping this kid apart. Yeah, no, I didn't realize that I'm gonna have Tarbasaur. I will jump. Do you know how big I am? Do you know how big I am as a T-Rex? I could jump and throw. I have thrown Carnotauruses. Fucking bring it. I throw Carnotauruses around like toys for fun. They know what they did. But yeah, I didn't realize that Beyblade was still a thing. Wait, what about Yu-Gi-Oh? Hang on. What about Yu-Gi-Oh? Yu-Gi-Oh anime. Okay, let me see here. Not a Disney Cardinal? I could topple him. I'm like 18 feet tall as a T-Rex. I could probably topple the bastard over a little bit. Let me see here. Yu-Gi-Oh series. Oh, wait. Hold up. Wait. There was another Yu-Gi-Oh series called, wait. The fuck is Yu-Gi-Oh Rush? Wait, Yu-Gi-Oh Rush. What is that? What on God's green earth is this thing? Oh, this just looks like a gaggle of VTubers. This straight up just looks like a bunch of like VTubers. Where they're really fast. Correct. Does that mean like they don't play on motorcycles? They just play on like Formula 1 race cars? Because that would be hilarious. Hold up, let me see here. What is this? What is this? I shit you not, they look like VTubers. No idea I was being a smartass. I give you a pat on the head and I give you a cookie. I'll give you a pat on the head and a cookie for effort on that one. But like they straight up just look like VTubers. And I don't know why I kind of like I kind of like their designs a little bit. I especially like obvious Yu-Gi-Oh card playing VTuber right here. We got Yu-Gi-Oh themed VTuber. We have probably cozy like ASMR, maybe VTuber over here. We got your maybe your chill kind of male VTuber here, and we got Spaz. And then we got the Spaz VTuber. It's stupid. The main character decides that the main character decided that he didn't like how standard Yu-Gi-Oh rules, so he can now draw as many cards from a deck as he wants, and tribute no summon it. Only watch it if one episode. That's fucking dumb. That's fucking dumb. And I hate it. Also, fun fact, LK, did you also know that the full scientific name for Disney's Carnotaurus is Carnotaurus floridiensis? Yeah. It literally just means the Floridian or the maid-eating bull from Florida. I know this because I have been to the dinosaur ride in Disney World a few times, and it straight up just says Carnotaurus floridiensis. Because of course it's from fucking Florida. And also the fact that the Carnotaurus skull on the dinosaur ride is literally just a T-Rex skull. It's just a T-Rex skull, just kind of smushed in a little bit. But yeah, it's just what the fuck is this? So, according to Ranma, I guess they just were like, fuck it, just speed draw Yu-Gi-Oh cards as much as you want. That's kind of dumb. It's generally kind of dumb. I mean, granted, old school Yu-Gi-Oh was kind of that as well, where you just kind of be a dick and stall your opponent while trying to get out your bigger beat stick. It was like a race to pull out, send a jump scare. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, no, like I'm fully aware of that. Like that's not a jump scare. It's still kind of cool though. It's supposed to be a simplified version of Yu-Gi-Oh! But wait, simplified Yu-Gi-Oh! Is literally just like the first like year of Yu-Gi-Oh! The first year of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is literally just them. Like the rules are literally just whip out your big beat stick and whack the other guy with who before he can pull out his big beef stick. And then like some sacrificing here and there. TLDR, it's who can pull out their strongest monster first. While also basically just bamboozling your opponent with spell and trap cards. And or cranking out the attack points on it as well. Also, I just realized something. Because I just realized this, because I'm looking up, like, all this Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush stuff. The fuck is a Galaxy type? No, really, what the fuck is a Galaxy type? I'm sorry, like, fucking what? Like, I'm just looking up, like, Rush cards. And I come up with something called, like, a Star Trancer. Like, what the hell is this? What the fuck is a Galaxy type? Like, what is this? Because, like, I guess now there are things like Worms, but spelled W-Y-R-M, which is... It's literally just a dragon. That's literally what dragons are. Dragons are worms. Like, what? And then you have like psychic types. Isn't that just like a spellcaster? Like a psychic type is literally just like A spellcaster? Why does psychic need to be its own attribute? Or its own, like, type? Yeah, worm. Yeah, it's just worm. Like, that's the old school way of calling something a dragon. It's just worm. So, you're literally just calling something a dragon. But the more Latin, but like a Latin way of saying dragon. Like an old school way of saying dragon. It's just dumb. Like, this shit's dumb. Like, I just don't get like modern Yu-Gi-Oh now. And then like we have retrains of like older cards. Actually, shit. You know what, chat? I want to see something here. Let's see the different types in Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay, I like this. The Idiot's Guide to All Cards. Thank you. Thank you. Because I am as smart as a potato. Thank you. Middle of looking at the rules now. Start with 4 cards. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. So, we're gonna watch this video and maybe learn something because I know absolutely nothing about anything past, like, the GX era. Yeah, because I know literally nothing outside of the GX era. That's the GX era is where I pretty much clocked out. It's just many different types of dragons. For example, wyverns, hydra, and right. No, I get that. But like in the olden times, right? In the olden times, right? They would call dragons worms. Like that was like the old way of saying like calling something a dragon was calling it a worm. And then now with modern media, worm are basically like draconic serpentine dragons, basically, with like no arms or legs. It's like a glass lizard, but for dragons.
It comes in 3 different flavors.
Okay, here we go. Thank you.
Monster, spell, and trap.
Wait, how old is this? How old is this video? 4 years ago. Okay.
Trap cards come in 3 different types: normal, continuous, and counter.
Okay, I know
Identify
this part.
Which is which via the symbol that appears here.
Yeah,
Normal trap
okay, this
cards
one I
must be
know.
set
This one I
face
know.
down on the field in the spell and trap zone for 1 whole turn before they can be activated. Once their effect has been used, they are sent to the graveyard. Continuous traps, when activated, remain face up on the field, and their effects can be used continuously.
Hey, Jay.
They are removed from the field by an
Nerd.
I'm learning about Yu-Gi-Oh.
only to them.
I'm learning about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Speed 3. Spell
Nerd.
You're a nerd.
Card's effect resolves after its
You're a fucking
What's up,
nerd.
girl?
What's up? I'm learning about Yu-Gi-Oh because I know nothing about what new Yu-Gi-Oh terms are now.
As a result, they cannot be
Oh, you're
converted
referring
to
to like all the synchronized monsters, and then of course the goes beyond that.
Yeah,
Stuff.
like yeah, because like as far as I know of Yu-Gi-Oh, my brain and I checked out of Yu-Gi-Oh with GX. So when I like popped in like I think like a year or two ago, because I know there was like kaiju cards, and now I'm like, what the fuck is a pendulum? What's a worm? What the fuck is a psychic? And now there's like galaxy types, and now there's like rush battles. I'm like, oh, this is why Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty much dead.
Actually, it's going on pretty strong right now.
Is it really? I mean, because Kurai told me like Yu-Gi-Oh cards are in decline right now.
The price of them may have gone like down, but in reality, the game still being played a lot. However, they're not playing like the normal way.
You mean the old school way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the old school way is what I know. Like face up, face down defense.
Yep.
Literally what he's going over right now.
It's pretty much the same thing, 1-to-1. The only thing that's different is that there are certain monsters that you gotta have meet special conditions for before you could do anything with them.
Gotcha.
Apart from all of these exceptions,
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
it's kind of.
Oh my
kinda
god!
weird.
Oh my god! Hold up! Wait, go back. Go back. What the fuck did? What was this list? I'm sorry. What is this list? That can be activated. Oh my god, that is a lot.
spell cards come in 6
I'm scared.
types: normal, quick play, continuous, equip, ritual, and field. These two are
Okay, I know
identifiable
this.
via the symbols.
Okay, I know all of
Normal
these.
spell cards are spell speed 1.
You might just need to skip ahead because, like I said, there's if you really want to know a little bit more about like nuance, New Age Yu-Gi-Oh, this
Yeah.
isn't more of the monster category.
Okay, so ritual.
the,
Okay, so I stopped right here.
Xyz monsters are also an extra deck monster.
This is where
So then,
I
two
stopped.
or more monsters need to be on the field with identical levels to the rank of the Xyz monster.
Right.
FYI,
Okay.
Xyz
Oh,
monsters'
yeah.
levels are called ranks instead. When the summon occurs, the monsters
So-
are placed on top of each other,
Wait, what?
along with the Xyz monster.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
there's a
Xyz
number
underneath
card.
are now called
But-
Xyz materials and are removed as the cost for using the Xyz monster's effects. Pendulum monsters.
So-
are-
So you just get rid of them once they're done, or you get rid of the material once they're done.
I'm assuming you're to the number monsters.
Yeah, the tuners and synchros. Yeah.
Like an actors.
Wait, what?
Oh, I'm playing Monster for Stories.
Oh no, you're fine. No,
Grades are branding.
no, because so I'm at the part where they're talking about XYZ summons, and they're saying like, okay, so it's simple enough. Like you just the level of monster, you have like 2 level, like let's say level 5 monsters, and you can use those to summon a level 5 or rank 5 like XYZ monster, correct?
Yep.
And then you just put them on top of each other to summon the XYZ monster, right? And those 2 monsters that you use are now material, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then once the XYZ attacks an opponent or a monster, that material goes to the graveyard because it's been used up, correct?
Yep.
So why don't you just use a fusion? It's the same thing. Why don't you just use a fusion?
Because if they, it's very weird.
Yeah, because it's
I
like,
will give you that.
well, because it's like you're just wasting 2 monsters when you literally could just do the same thing with a fusion. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get this. Hi Katsuna, I'm learning Yu-Gi-Oh and my brain is not computing.
in the main deck and can be either a monster or a spell card. What determines
Okay,
this is whether you choose
that's
to summon
interesting.
them as a monster or activate them in their exclusive pendulum zones.
Wait, what?
If a pendulum monster is sent to the graveyard from the field,
Okay.
it instead goes face up to the extra monster zone. Not
Wait, what?
only that, but pendulum monsters have a unique way of summoning. When 2 pendulum monsters are in the pendulum zones, you can perform a pendulum summon during your main phase. This
What?
allows the user to special summon multiple monsters with levels between those scales from the hand. Also,
So okay, so Doc, I'm at Pendulum Monsters.
Yep.
How well do you know Pendulum Monsters?
I don't.
Okay, so what I'm gathering is that you can do a pendulum summon if you have 2 pendulum monsters in the pendulum monster zones, if I'm reading this right. And you can summon as many monsters as you can in between, like, say, 0 to 8.
Yep.
That's broken. That is so broken. Like, I could literally just pop out 3 blue eyes, fucking polymerization, and then summon a blue eyes ultimate and just bend you over and just give you a good old, fashioned beatdown spanking. That's broken as hell. If I'm reading this correctly.
So, if you have any pendulum monsters in your extra deck, you can also summon those.
Yeah, it's
exclusively to the
a
extra
very
monsters.
weird game now.
Yeah, because this just seems really overly complicated just for one fucking thing. Let's see, I'll be honest, I've gotten into modern candy games. It's since it's expensive and can become addiction. Oh, so like Candy Crush?
Yeah.
So like Candy Crush?
Zone. Not only that, but pendulum monsters also
hang on.
have some variants. They can come in normal spell,
There we go.
effect spell, fusion spell, synchro spell, and exceed spell. The latter
Wait, hold up. Sorry, my earbuds came unplugged. Hold up. I want to repeat that again. Actually, I just want to repeat the entire pendulum section because this is fucking weird. Actually, wait, Jay, hang on. I'm going to share this with you. I'm going to share my screen with you.
Okay.
That way you can suffer along with me. All right, there you go. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
pendulum monsters reside in the main deck and can be either a monster or a spell card. What
Okay, that doesn't sound too bad. Like, that sounds kind of nice.
determines this is whether you choose to summon them as a monster or activate them in their exclusive pendulum zones. If a pendulum monster
So you activate their effect in the pendulum zone?
Yep. Which I'm assuming.
Then why don't you just summon them on the monster side of the field and just activate their effects? Why do you need to be this needlessly complicated?
I think it's to essentially give them a more of a different type of play style than the actual other
But that
monsters.
But that really just seems like it's very unnecessarily complicated for what you're just trying to do. Like, by the time you're reading out the fucking text, I'm just gonna summon a fucking blue eyes white dragon and just smack you with it. Oh, wait, there's dragon maid archetypes now? Because according to Katsuna, they were saying, like, there's now a dragon maid archetype.
Yep.
I love that.
is sent to the graveyard from the field, it instead goes face up to the extra monster zone. Not
Wait,
only
what?
that, but pendulum monsters have a unique way of summoning. When two pendulum monsters are in the pendulum zones, you can perform a pendulum summon during your main phase. This allows the user to special summon multiple monsters with levels between those scales from
That's broken. That's like really, really broken.
the hand. Also, if you have any pendulum monsters in your extra deck, you can also summon those exclusively to the extra monster zone. Not only
Why? Why don't you just summon them in the regular monster zone like everything else?
that, but pendulum monsters also have some variants. They can come
Huh?
in normal spell,
Huh?
effect spell, fusion spell,
Huh?
synchro spell, and exceed spell. The latter three, however, must reside in the extra deck. Finally,
Why?
there is Link Monster that resides in the extra deck. These cards have no level and no defense value. They are summoned by sending
This
to
is
the grave
actually making
from
my
your
brain
field
hurt.
a number of monsters equal to its Link level. And
It's better
also
left
match
not
its summon
understanding it, Carl.
I'm
criteria.
like,
They can only be summoned to the extra monster zone, or a zone that a Link monster's arrows point to. Also,
why? That sounds like that sounds like a dumb gimmick.
Link monsters themselves can be used as materials for their summon. Their Link level will determine how many materials they will be worth. A unique trait to the Link monsters is that due to their lack of defense points, they are incapable of being placed in the defense position under any circumstances. And last but not least, on top of all of these, monsters can also come in one of 5 subtype classifications known as abilities. These are Gemini, Union,
The fuck is a
Spirit,
Gemini?
Toon, and Flip. Gemini monsters are treated as normal monsters on the field and in the graveyard, and can gain their effects by performing an additional normal summon on them while they are face up on the field.
Okay.
Union monsters have an effect that allows them to equip itself to a monster as an equipped spell card.
Why? Why don't you just grab an equipped spell card and save yourself the trouble? No, really, why just... Hey, Jay?
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is Yu-Gi-Oh! Becoming way too complicated and way too gimmicky?
Yeah, it's gone really up there.
Because this just sounds like a bunch of nonsense when you could literally just solve your issues with just an equip spell. Like, why do you need a whole nother monster to act as both as a monster and an equip spell? And when that monster dies, you lose life points. But with an equip spell, you're just out one spell card without no life points.
Honestly, Gar, I don't know.
I don't know. Am I making sense, or am I just completely missing this?
I honestly, it could go either way because Yu-Gi-Oh! That's why there's like people who play a specific type of way. Like they have literally come out and said this, hey, you don't have to play these rules. We can still use old rule sets.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with old rules because this is way too complicated.
Or unequip itself to special summon it to the monster zone. Spirit
What? Hold up. I want to replay that again. Huh?
to a monster as an
I'm not even like playing this up. I'm just genuinely confused.
on the field.
What are you
Union
confused about,
monsters have
Carl?
an effect that allows them
Just this.
to equip itself to a monster as an equipped spell card, or unequip itself to special summon it to the monster zone.
But you can already do that. It's treated as a regular monster. Why do you need to special summon it into the monster zone if you can already summon it in the monster zone after... Just get a damn equipped spell card and just save yourself the trouble.
Spirit monsters are effect monsters that have the effect to return it to its owner's hand during the end phase.
I know of
turn
these.
It is summoned.
These were old school Yu-Gi-Oh!
Toon monsters have the ability that if the player controls Toon World and the opponent doesn't control any Toon monsters, it can attack directly. Flip monsters have the ability that when they are flipped up, or if they are summoned by flipping them face up, they will trigger their effect.
Yeah, I know about
There's
this
also
one.
tokens, but they're just sort of placeholder cards, so yeah. Keep in mind, in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! There are a lot of variations and deviances to what I have stated up here. For example, there are fusion monsters that don't need polymerization. The game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very complex, but I hope this
no
video helps
shit.
resolve any issues you might have had. If you would like to learn a little
Yeah, no shit, the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really fucking complex. You don't say. Like... What... I kind of miss the old school days where it was just face up, face down, attack or defense, magic, trap, equip spell. Spirit, I understood Spirit because that was like the tail end of old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Gemini,
Yeah.
Gemini, I think was like, I think Gemini's a newer one, and I don't understand that one. But the other one though, the what the fuck was it called? The Union card? I think it was. Was it Union? Something like that? I don't fucking know.
and equip itself to special
Yeah,
smiths.
I just want to replay that again. Was it
on the field? Union monsters.
Yeah, Union. That one I don't understand because that just sounds like an equip spell with extra steps and something that you'll lose life points over if you just get smacked with it or get, have it get taken away. So yeah, no, Yu-Gi-Oh's just gotten way too damn complex. Wait, what about, hang on, let me see here. Pokemon cards. How to play. I'm learning, chat. I'm learning. Because, okay, Jay, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know how to play Pokemon.
I don't either, man. Don't. I don't play card games.
Okay, so yeah, Pokemon has changed. Oh no, how complex is Pokemon
Not by
now?
much. It's actually not that complex than like previous iterations. They just added like a couple more features, such as certain character cards do something.
Okay, so it's not bad. It's not as bad as Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I'm sorry, but with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like you kinda made your card game a little too complex if you need a whole nother like game type just so that way people can play classic Yu-Gi-Oh. Like you made your shit way too complex. A new elemental type which changes everything at the moment. Which one is it? Fairy?
No, so if I remember correctly, they don't have the 18 types like normal Pokemon games. So what they do, they base it off of a certain like combined typings.
Wait, what?
So how do I explain this? Pokemon right now in the TGC, there are. Let me look it up a little bit because I need to know these. Because it's not like normal Pokemon.
So what is it?
It's fire, fighting, dragon, lightning, grass, water, fairy, psychic, darkness, metal, and colorless.
So normal?
No, colorless is often just referred to as like a neutral. It's not normal. It's not like it usually means just like basic attacks or basic elements. Like anything could go there if it wants, type of thing.
Oh, so it's like dual typing?
It's multi-typing, basically.
That's okay, that's kind of cool. Colorless energies.
Yeah, and the same.
You can use for your other typings too. Oh, okay. What were you saying, Jay?
That's basically that's what Screech Raptor said.
Okay. So like if I have like a dragon type that's also colorless, I can just, I don't know, give it to like maybe like a fire.
It doesn't so Pokemon doesn't have dual typing.
It does not.
Nope. They just have one type or the other.
Huh.
And like LK said, you can, like, some cards can have multiple different types abilities.
Yeah.
Like for example, the colorless is just a general attack essentially.
Right.
It's very weird, to say the least.
So it's trying to make up for the dual typing.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, that's not bad. Because you could just give it whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
So that's actually kind of cool. So you can, but does it have any effect? Like if you give it like a fairy, like element, does it boost anything, or is it just just there, just in case if you got it.
Yeah, it's just there just in case you got it. It's not. It's very weird, but you can understand if you can. A lot of times, people compare Pokemon to Yu-Gi-Oh. Pokemons tend to be a lot easier nowadays due to the fact of how it plays out.
So it's like the opposite of Yu-Gi-Oh, where Pokemon got simpler, Yu-Gi-Oh got more complicated.
Well, with the introduction of the fairy typing, it did change a lot how the game plays.
Okay. Well, because like they added, I think they added fairy to kind of nerf dragon.
I mean, Dragon didn't really have that much strength to begin with.
I thought dragon was like the most powerful one in like the games, like at least.
No!
At least in the video games. At least in the video games.
Even in the video games, it's actually not that strong.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I actually did not know that.
People want to. Pokemon kind of made it overhyped, thinking that Dragon's like the strongest typing in the game, but it's not really that strong. Now it's Fairy.
Right, yeah, because Fairy was hyped as like the dragon killer.
Yep.
Because now you have something that can, put a halt to like say Dragonite or Hydreigon or
Yep.
hell not Kingdra. Kingdra wasn't that great. Flygon.
Yep.
Yeah,
The second strongest typing. So the second strongest typing now in Pokemon is also Poison type.
Really, poison?
Yeah, because it takes down Fairy so easily.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like in real world, that makes sense.
Yep. It's kind of unique when you actually look into it a little bit more into Pokemon about this. One of the biggest things you got to understand, Pokemon has changed so much in the last decade.
Mic check. There
Yeah,
we go.
it's kind of... Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were just...
No, I accidentally bumped my
quiet.
mic. No, and
He
that
did it
makes
again.
sense. Yeah,
Oh.
no, I did it again. Is it fine now?
Yeah, you should be fine. It's good.
Okay. But no, like that makes sense because like, okay, so I can understand the real world, reason as to why poison is strong against fairy. Because if you read in lore, fairies are nature. And you poison like, nature and all that kind of stuff, and that kills fairies. Same thing goes for like same thing goes for like metal. Like iron was supposedly the fairy repellent.
And yet, poison types barely do anything to grass types.
That is true. That is funny. Hell, I think most poison types are grass types.
Not all of them.
Not all.
But you are correct. There is a good number of them. Like for example, the very first starters in the Pokemon franchise, Bulbasaur is a poison grass type. Yep.
Also, Jay, I gotta ask you, which one is the first Pokemon?
Are you determining like first design?
No, I mean like
first to exist.
Well, we all know like what was the first Pokemon to technically exist, and that is Arceus.
Yeah.
Doc J, obviously.
You're funny, LK. You're funny.
Wait, hold up. Kurai just sent me something. Kurai, what did you send me? Oh no, what did you send me?
But if we're talking about like actual very first Pokemon to ever come to an existence, that would be Rhydon. Rhydon was actually the very first designed Pokemon.
Yep. Some people don't know that. Okay, you want to hear a hot take? The OCG.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. Okay, you want to hear a hot take about Rhydon?
Yeah.
I don't like Rhyperior.
Yeah, a lot of people have like mixed feelings on that one.
I don't like Rhyperior. I think Rhydon was perfectly fine the way that he was.
Well, the main reason why they did gave them evolutions is due to the fact that Rhyperior didn't get. I mean, Rhydon was like outcast when they did the baby evolutions for like Magmar and Electabuzz.
And I get that. Let's see here. Since you've been mentioned, yeah, no, I'll give it a try. But like a lot of these like Kanto evolutions, I'm not a big fan of. Like Tangrowth, I don't really care for.
Yeah, they were trying to give them like some uniqueness, like
They were trying to give them something.
Pokemon. Yeah, based upon the region you're from, Pokemon tend to have like different evolutions, all like that stuff. Essentially that's what they were trying to go for.
That's stupid.
It's stupid, yes, but at the same time, it does give a little bit more reality to the world of Pokemon that, based on regional changes, can have different like evolutional continuity. For example, one of the biggest ones is Duraludon, which is the skyscraper Pokemon. It's a steel dragon type. Came out in Generation 8, I think. Yeah, Generation 8. And then in Generation 9, it got a evolution. So many people were confused why it didn't get the evolution in its own game, like when it was first introduced. But the problem was though, we didn't get it until we got a DLC for the game.
Yeah.
Which was the reason why people were assuming it's because it's not an actual the Duraludon that evolved are from Kalos.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So based on the actual continuity you go based on, Duraludons, if they live in Kalos, have access to a specialized ore that makes them have the ability to evolve, is what they're trying to say.
That makes, honestly, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. And here's the thing, is that I also really love the idea of regional forms.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes sense. It makes perfect sense in terms of like evolutionary. It makes a lot of sense. And I like that because we see that in real world animals. Honestly, you want to know something that I kind of have a little bit of a take on?
Yeah.
I think Monster Hunter needs to take a hint from Pokemon with that.
The problem is though, it already does what Pokemon did.
Say what now?
Yeah, there's already changes like that.
What, in Monster Hunter?
Yeah.
Oh, which one's like original, like species? I mean, like, I guess you could say subspecies. I guess.
Well, one of the thing is the Monster Hunter World. Right? The Rathalos you fight in Monster Hunter World, right?
Yeah.
Are biologically different than the ones you find in the New World.
Huh.
The way they fly is actually changed. In Monster Hunter World, they have a new adaptation on their back of their wings that allowed them to actually fly through thick trees.
Huh.
Yeah, and the ones from
I did not know that.
Any Rathalos you meet in before then actually are more focused around being plane hunters. So the armor, like the plating on the back of their wings, are more for stable flight, whereas the ones in World have developed what we refer to them as segmented armor, which allows them to actually hover into the forest.
So kind of like Rathalos. So I guess you could say like, would you say it's like Rathalos prior to World are like crows, and the ones in World are like ravens?
I would say the best way I can describe it, The ones in the old world are more like eagles,
Okay.
and the ones you find in in the new world are more like hawks.
Okay, that makes sense.
Biologically, they look similar to each other.
Yeah.
They're both predatory animals. It's that they evolve different features. The ones you find in the old world are essentially designed for more like soaring, whereas the ones in the new world are more designed for, well, the best way I could describe it, for hovering.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, yeah. All right, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, no,
It's
like
cool when you look at, because they actually describe this in their like book on the topic and everything. They kind of like said, hey, this is how the Rathalos are different from the ones you normally see in the old world.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, it'd be oh yeah, world and old gen games. There's a lore reason why they look different. Yeah, that's what Jay was just talking about.
Yep. Well, not only that, there's an actual reason why the Rathalos in the wild world now hovers more. It's due to the fact that they are biologically designed for that reason.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. Okay. No, that's actually really interesting. And again, it's one of the reasons why I love Monster Hunter so much. Is that the creators actually took the time to make the world feel like it's alive. Because they could have just sat there and be like, all right, here is Rathalos, same thing as, as always, but here is it in the new world. Go have fun. But they took the time to make it look like, to make them feel like completely different species. While being the same. That's really cool. And I really honestly love that. And also, like, let's see here. Wonder how much different wild, laggy Acris will be. Okay, so that was another thing. Okay, so that's another thing I wanted to bring up as well. So, Jay, since you're here, are you excited for laggy Acris to come back?
Yes, I am. I'm really excited because this also opens a lot of doors for them trying to bring back a lot of monsters that we haven't seen in a while. For example,
I want Monoblos.
They could also bring back Echinactor because of like Lagiacrus being brought back.
Yeah, because they like game wise they share the same template.
Yes, they share the same skeleton. Well, granted, though, all Leviathans technically share the same skeleton. There's like not really much difference except for maybe small little like changes here and there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like Royal Ludroth, it has like I would say has a vastly different skeleton than say like Aganator or like Lagiacrus.
You could tell that they use the same skeleton based on the way they move.
I mean, yeah, I can kind of see that.
Yeah. Especially if you want to look at them like one to one, you actually look at how they like
posture themselves.
Walk. Yeah, they posture themselves, how they'll walk. Often or not, the only thing really changes them are their attack animations because they need to like have some differences in their attacks.
Yeah, because otherwise they'll be like what you'll see in like RPGs and other fantasy games where it's just the same monster but painted in a different color and maybe one or two little differences here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very rarely does Monster Hunter like change like the skeletons for their monsters. They often will use the same skeletons across the board for each species of monster unless it changes dramatically. One being Gobel. Gobel is the only Leviathan class, like Leviathan species monster that changes a lot on how it moves. because of its body type.
Well, yeah, because it's based off of like anglerfish, pufferfish,
Yep.
and I think a hint of electric stingray.
Yeah, it basically just was designed that way. Same with Nubblesnarf.
Yeah, I love Nibblesnarf. I want him to come back just because of the name.
A lot of people want him back.
Well, he's just a goofy little pancake.
They want the main reason why they want him back is since we have the ability to actually throw like bombs now. They want him back so they could just throw it at the Nubblesnarf as it's chasing you.
I could see that. Yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah, no, like there's so okay. Here's another thing. Since you play Monster Hunter Stories, there's one thing I don't understand about Monster Hunter Stories.
Yeah.
You have Gravios, right?
Yep.
You have Basarios, right?
Yeah, a lot of people have already like pointed this out.
I was gonna say, isn't like a Basarios literally just a juvenile Gravios?
You are absolutely correct, and this is why a lot of people kind of state this a lot when they talk about Monster Hunter, especially like a lot of the continuity when it comes to Monster Hunter. One thing is, Gravios is the adult form of Basarios after it shed its armor or like the hide, because that's what its carapace is. It's just rocky textures.
Yeah, it's meant to look like a rock. It's extreme mimicry.
Yeah.
Rice left out Gravios for some reason. That is true too. But we have a fuck ton of Basarios.
Yeah, the main reason why they left Basarios out of Rise was due to the fact they wanted to give it the idea that Basarios come to the area Rise is in just to like start out their lives.
Yeah, it's kind of like a giant spawning pool, I guess, or like how we theorize sauropods, handle their care or their young.
Yep.
And once they're old enough, then they can just go about their lives. And also, by the way, they're flying wyverns. I also didn't realize this. They're flying wyverns.
Oh yeah, there's like a lot of flying wyverns that don't actually technically fly.
Yeah, Basarios and Gravios are one of them. Actually, you know what? I'm in the
Diablos.
I'm Diablos as well. Well, Diablos is either too angry and horny to fly. They just they're too busy being angry. The same thing with with Monoblos. Monoblos is also I think that one can fly. Most
of the desert wyverns are kind of like that.
Where they just prefer to dig.
Yeah.
Which, again, I think it's funny with Monster Hunter is also just kind of funny with how they handle subspecies and other monsters.
Yeah.
Like, a Rathian is literally just a female Rathalos.
Oh, yeah. It was due to the fact when they were making the monsters, they were kind of not like trying to make. Originally, there's actual lore reasons why people think Rathian and Rathalos are two separate animals when they first discovered it.
They don't see
that way.
Fucking.
No, the main reason why is because technically Rathians live in a different environment than Rathalos.
I mean, that would make sense.
One of the biggest kickers here is the funniest one of them all. Rathians are more likely to live in deserts and forests, and jungles, while Rathalos are more likely to live in forests and plains areas.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
It's very weird.
I could see that. I mean, like with animals today, like I think there are some that are like that, where the male and female live in different areas.
Yeah.
And then they'll just, when it's time to fuck, they'll just meet at a certain designation and just breed and then just go off their merry way.
Exactly.
But also things like Gravios and Basarios, they're labeled as two separate animals when they're quite literally the same species, except one's just a baby version of the other one.
Well, same with Black Diablos. Black Diablos are technically just Diablos that are neat.
Yeah, they're just... I also like how we're the hunters and our task is to bonk the horny Diablos, to be like, keep it down. Basically. It's like, you're too horny, lady. Hand me my bonking stick. It's like, no horny for you.
There's like a lot of weird Monster Hunter like things you don't understand. For example, one of the biggest ones is Shrouded Nursilla.
Okay.
So Shrouded Nursilla are just Nursilla that wanted protection against, I think, a specific element. I can't remember what it was. Ice or something. Hold on. Let me see. It's actually the same reason why Nursillas normally wear Gypsyros hide.
Is because they just like rubber?
So, fun fact. The reason why Nursilla wear Gypsyros hide is because they need immunity to electricity, because they don't have a natural immunity to it. Because the predator that eats them uses electricity.
Which one uses electricity that hunts Nursilla?
It doesn't really speak about it. I think there's a I have to look through it.
Is it Zinogre?
Because the monster though. No, I don't know.
I would think it would be, you know, like Zinogre, because that's the first monster that maybe Rajangs.
It's very weird because a lot of the animals that normally should hunt Nursilla are electric and fire types, and they often live in more colder regions or jungles.
I'm thinking it's... I want to say it's like Rajangs or like Zinogre.
Maybe. Because Rajang don't typically like hunting anything other than elder dragons, and their favorite food is
Girans.
Horns.
Yeah. Shrouded Nursilla hides
the
in the ground as well, like a trapdoor spider. Yeah, that's really cool too.
Yep. So if I remember correctly, Nursillas are often more Nursilla doesn't like anything that shoots electricity because that's its weakness. Whereas Shrouded Nursilla doesn't like anything that has ice.
Because I'm
so
thinking
that's why
well, because maybe like a Tigrex would hunt them because Tigrex uses ice.
It's very strange because Nursillas are often only found in, like, for example, regular Nursillas are found in mostly jungles. Unless we go based on wilds, they're found in now icy climates as well.
To get away from their predators, I guess.
Yeah. And the only animals that typically like to live in those climates are mostly like animals like well, there is technically one animal that likes eating bugs.
Which one's that?
It's covered in electricity. That is Astralos.
I forget what Astralos looks like.
It's the one that looks like a giant bug wyvern. It has like a giant crest that shoots electricity out of it.
Oh, is it part of the Fated Four?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Those are often found in jungles, so there's a slight possibility that's what probably hunted Nursilla.
I was gonna say because like the ones that I was thinking, I'm like, I don't know why things like a Zinogre would go out of their way to like hunt a spider.
Yeah, mostly does an ogre hunt a gagwa.
Nargacuga?
No, gagwa.
Gagwa?
Gagwa.
Oh, the
They're
weird,
these.
the weird like dodo things, right?
Yeah, the birds. They usually hunt them because that's why it has the fulgur bugs that live around it. Fulgur bugs are the favorite food of gagwa.
Oh, yeah. So like uses the fulgur bugs to lure them in, and then just
Yeah,
snack on them.
yeah,
That's clever.
yeah. It's why a lot of that's why a lot of people fears an ogre, because it's a very clever monster that have found a way to essentially get to hunt a crop animal. Because gagwa are often used in villages as well as along with Aptodath and everything else. It's also very strange because Zenogre are often found hiding in mountains because they don't like interacting with people. They rather stay to their own devices.
Which is funny because we're going out of our way to go fuck with one.
Well, the Zenogre you normally fight in its first game was kicked off its mountain. It was away from its territory.
Oh, and it picked the wrong neighborhood, basically.
Yep, and it started attacking all the local farmers, Gagwa, which is the reason why you technically need to deal with it, because it is technically causing harm to the local ecology as well as, eating crops, like eating livestock.
Yeah, right.
And then the Zenogre you fight in World is technically we're just muscling on its territory.
Right. And it's just defending
Yeah.
its territory.
Yep.
Which is kind of fucked up if you want to think about it that way.
Yeah. The thing is, Zenogre in the World is different from Zenogres you find in the old world.
Okay, how so?
Well, first off, Zenogres have the Zenogre you see in the worlds or in the old world have interacted with humans, so they know what they're capable of. The one you fight in World in the Iceborne expansion has not interacted with humans at all.
Oh, okay.
So it sees you, like you saw the cutscene for it, right? It looks at you, and then
Yeah.
looks back at the Diablos and the Rathalos, right?
Yeah.
It's because it knows these two are more of a threat than you are, because it doesn't know what you are.
Right. It's kind of like a wild animal seeing humans for the first time.
Yeah, it doesn't really care about you because it doesn't see you're small. It doesn't seem like you're gonna break up its territory. Whereas Diablos and Rathalos are in its territory, and those two are apex level monsters.
Yeah, because it's like, I'll deal with you later. I need to get these guys out of my house.
Yeah, they're in my territory. They're my turf. I need them out.
It's just like, you picked the wrong house. You picked the wrong house, son.
You want to know a funny little fact? Those two monsters are weak to electricity.
Yeah, and then they picked the wrong house because that's what an ogre is.
Yeah.
That's,
You want to also
that's
find
kinda
another fun fact? I think I've already said this to you. Zenogre do not actually produce electricity.
Yeah, it's the fulgur bugs.
Yep. Their manes and their bodies and the horns actually absorb the electricity so they can use it for later.
Yeah, and they just absorb enough and then just discharge it at will, basically.
Yep.
That's kind of neat. It's like a big electrical sponge.
Yeah.
Whereas some, like, kind of harness electricity like a fucking railgun, like in Wilds.
Oh yeah, it's like Raid Out is probably the most unique of the electric monsters because it doesn't even produce electricity either.
No, just harness it from the lightning.
Yeah, that's why it hunts during the storms. It normally cannot even absorb electricity. It just directs it.
Yeah. Isn't Lyciacrus one of the only monsters that can produce its own electricity?
Nope. There's also Astralos can produce its own electricity.
Yeah.
Tobadagachi can produce its own electricity.
Okay.
Fulgur Anjanath can produce its own electricity.
Okay.
It's a rarity. A lot of electric monsters actually technically produces electricity and stores it. Zinogre and Raidao are the only two exceptions.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Oh no, that's actually kind of cool.
It's very unique when you look at like from a Monster Hunter standpoint.
Well, yeah,
Like an
because
ecology thing.
like the people who worked on Monster Hunter do their research.
Yeah.
Like they don't just combine. They're not like Pokemon where they just kind of combine random shit together and just make an animal.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I love Pokemon, right? I love Pokemon, but like if you want to look at it, half of these Pokemon on a biological level, it's like, how do you exist?
There are certain Pokemon that kind of like Pokemon over the years have kind of like went into more of the naturalistic route for their creature designs. Oh, also I'll real be right back. Someone's calling me.
Oh yeah, no problem. But yeah, no, it's just like some of these Pokemon, I'm just like, how do you exist? And I mean, like, some of them I can understand. Like, some of them I understand, were man-made. Like Voltorb, for example. Voltorb is a Pokemon that was man-made. But like some of them I'm like, these are natural, like, recurring animals. And some of the stuff that they do, or hell, even their biology, it's like, how do you survive? Genuinely, how the hell do you actually survive? Like, cast form, I think, comes up to mind as well. What? I think cast form is one of those as well, where it's like, it's a natural recurring animal, but yet its biology, I'm like, how does this thing work? Thank you. But no, like, that's one of the reasons why I love Monster Hunter, is because, like, with Monster Hunter, everything looks and feels like it's a natural part. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry that you're bored. But yeah, no, like, Monster Hunter just feels like a lot of these animals are a natural part of the environment, and they're like just like natural animals. But yeah, so let me actually see here real quick. Let me see if I can find. There was this one really cool video that I wanted to show you guys, and I never got around to it. Let me see here. I want to show this off. So I've been following this guy by the name of Vrano, and he makes a lot of really, really cool, like, 3D animations, and a lot of the time they are really, really fluent. And one of his most recent ones that he came out with, it was about 13 days ago, and it was a Bionicle video. It was a Bionicle video And I wanted to show this just because of just how clean this choreography is. There we go. Okay, so this is Toagali versus a Tarkava. So this is ripped directly from... Oh, wait. There's the cursor. Okay. So this is like ripped directly from the Modanui Online game. From like back in like...
Huh?
Oh, hi Fluffs. I see here.
Yeah, so hot.
Who goes there?
Hi
Zap,
Fluffs. How
whoa!
you doing?
With a wave of my finger and a flick of my dick, one zap from me will kill you quick, so get on your knees to suck and blow, but not right now,
I got to go.
Fuck, I hate when he rhymes.
How you doing, homie? What you up to? Bionicle old? Yeah, Bionicle old. Hi, I'm old. I am a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur in my early 30s. Yes. By Tyrannosaur standards, I should be dead. But yes, how you doing? How you doing, homie? Everyone go.
Ding dong!
Yeah, and let me see here. Everyone go follow one of my good homies here. We love Captain Fluffs here. We love this sexy little pirate man. Go give him a follow and go show him some love. Get loved on, you fucking nerd. But yeah, so this is a little snippet of something he was been working on. So this is directly ripped from Modanui Online. And I thought this was so good. Just like looking at just like the detailing on their masks. Like it's really, really good. Like the water also looks really good. And this is something that it's made by one guy. Like this is so flipping good. I'm not gonna lie, chat. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would love to build a Tarkava on stream. It's just Tarkavas and a lot of like older Gen 1 Bionicle sets go for like a stupid amount of money. Maybe one day I'll put it on like Throne or something like that for like a Kickstarter, like a crowdfunding campaign. I almost said Kickstarter. But yeah, no, like I always wanted to build like a Tarkava. They're kind of cool. So the gimmick of a Tarkava is that they are these they're basic stick figure lizard looking creatures. And the whole gimmick of them is that they punch because it's built into like a game that came with like the Bionicle set. So you would try to knock off these Kanohi off of either your other Tarkava or your Toa. Just, God, this is so nice. Yeah, get perceived and get loved on, nerd. Like, just... God damn, this is such a good scene. And the one thing I really like what this guy did was that he tried to kind of get around the Tahonga, like, accordion arms. So the Matoran here, so back in the day, the Matoran, also known as the Tahonga, they had like these really kind of like weird accordion-esque looking arms, is because they had a gimmick where they came with like a little Kanohi disc, and the gimmick was that you pull back on the arms and you have them shoot out a disc. So it's kind of cool that he tried to make sense of like their weird arms. And what's also kind of weird about Bionicle is that they're all technically organic. Yeah, so they're all, like, technically speaking, like, organic creatures. So they're, like, techno-organic. Y'all should check out this Dino's Throne and Kofi support. Oh, no. 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 Fluffs, what are you doing? Fluffs, what are you doing? No. Stop it. Stop. Stop it. You fucking bitch. God fucking damn. Why must you do this to be Fluffs? Why must you do this? Nah, just kidding. I love you. You're great, Fluffs. I hope you're doing well, homie. But yeah, I wanted to show that off real quick. And I mean, like, if you guys want, I will put up a crowdfunding for the Tarkava, so that way we can get some like lanky Bionicle builds. Get loved and supported, you nerd. Well, you know what, Fluffs? I'm gonna do the exact same thing to you when you fucking stream. How about that? How about that, Fluffs? I'm gonna do the exact same thing. So, speaking of Bionicle, right, so speaking of Bionicles and all that, and I guess we could go around and like talk about toys as well, because why the fuck not? So I'm not gonna play this entire video, but it's something that I cannot stress enough, and this is just outright bullshit. So there was a fan game going on. So this was Bionicle and the Masks of Power. So this was entirely, 100% entirely a fan-made Bionicle game, like centered around G1 Bionicle, specifically of the adventures of the Toa Mata. So the Toa from like 2001. And this was getting near completion. Like, we would have seen the game demo drop, I think, like a couple of weeks ago. However, right before the demo came out, LEGO fired off a cease and desist order. So they legally cannot finish this and send this out to the market.
Great day. I honestly wasn't expecting to make a follow-up video, but for those that do not know,
and this was going to be like this really big expanse
game that's been in development for over
this really big sorry, I accidentally hit my mic there. So this would have been a really big and expansive Bionicle game. Now, I have been told by some people as to why they were canceled. So part of it was being that, I guess, some I guess you could say some bigoted people were trolling LEGO and were trying to get this thing canceled because of one of the people who were behind it, who were trans, and they were just being a bunch of bigots. So they said, you know what, fuck you, we're just gonna cancel your hard-earned project here because we want to be a bunch of fucking assholes. Which is a real shame, because thanks, you ruined this for fucking everybody. I hope you're satisfied. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to show off, because I was just thinking about Bionicles and I wanted to show off that little animation. And I'm really disappointed because of that. I'm still very, very angry and very, very salty, because here's the thing, right? That could have been... I honestly would have loved streaming that game. I probably would not have gotten any views, but you know what? I don't care. I would have played it. I would have played the shit out of it because I love Bionicle. I'm a diehard Bionicle fan. And because a bunch of bigots came by and ruined it for everybody, and I'm very sad about this now. So yeah, and also the thing is, like, what would LEGO do with the Bionicle brand, right? Because for the most part, LEGO is done with Bionicle. They just are. And it's not like they're going to be using the brand anytime soon, because since Gen 2, right? Since Gen 2 was so bad that it died off within a year. So with LEGO and their brands, so typically they'll make a brand, like let's just say Ninjago, right? So we'll just say Ninjago. And normally the plan with LEGO brands is that they'll typically get like I want to say like a year or two lifespan. It's my IP to sit on and do nothing with. Basically, so what happened was that, so let's just say Chima, right? Or Ninjago. Ninjago gets a lifespan of like, I think like a year. I think like a year or two, just to test out the waters. To see like how people like it. And if people like it enough within its first year, they'll make more. No, I'm sorry, I think it's like a 3-year. I think it's like a 3-year lifespan where they'll test it out to see like if it works, and if it doesn't work, then they'll just cancel it within like maybe like a couple of years. So that way you can get like a good chunk of the story out of the way, you can get a good amount of sets in, and people kind of know what the brand is before it gets canceled. So with G2 Bionicle did so abysmal in terms of its toy sales. It did so abysmal that it died within a year. And in terms of Lego, that's horrible. And what they did was that they wrote it off on their taxes. So we will never see Bionicle ever again. The only times that we do see Bionicle pop up here and there, it's for like tiny little anniversary sets, but nothing like a full-blown, wave or a brand like G1 and G2. So yeah, they basically have this brand and they will sit on it and do absolutely fuck and all with. And that makes me so angry. And Bionicle fans are actually the very reason why Bionicle is still kicking. So for them just to order a cease and desist order because a bunch of bigots were being a bunch of assholes, that's fuck you. Just saying. But yeah, so what I wanted to show you guys, because I just got like my little memory jog, because I did actually have some toy news that I wanted to kind of go over. It's only like maybe like 2 or 3 things. But the first one that I wanted to show off on the docket is not this one. Oh. I was going to say, you back, Jay? I just saw his little thing light up, so anyway. So the first thing that's on the docket that I wanted to show off, it is this. So what this, pray tell, hang on, give me a second here. No, we're not going to add that to cart. So I want to move it up out of the way. Move it off to the side so that way you guys give it. Yeah, so what this is that this is the Nanmu Indoraptor. It's part of their smart line. So this is part of their highly detailed and posable dinosaur figures.
Oh, you're checking out the good stuff?
Yeah, I just got done talking about Bionicles too.
Oh, and I'm talking about the dinosaur figures.
Yeah. So they have 2 versions. So this is the black version. So this is your regular version.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks nice. It looks really, really good. Now, the thing with this Indoraptor is that it's going to go in scale with their Indominus, which is slightly bigger than their Vastato.
Oh shit, that is a small indie raptor then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh god. Oh, I was gonna get one because I thought it was about to be the same size as my hammock creation collection.
No,
ones.
It's not. Sadly.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. It'd be a nice little addition.
Oh yeah, no, I'm still getting it. I have it on pre-order. So
I want to get the tiger one.
I do too. I was gonna go over the Indominus because you were showing that off in my server.
Oh.
So here you go. Here's the product features. So the product features, it says it comes at 11.2 inches tall or long. I'm sorry, about 28 centimeters. So not very big. Get bent. You're in ad break baby jail. However, Jay is not in ad break baby jail. So he gets this
actually.
Oh, you are?
I now you don't have any like way for me to see what you're looking at, so
Hang on, let me share my screen real quick. There you go, now you can see.
hold on.
It's in my Discord.
Yeah, I'm just again. Oh, yeah, I'm watching.
Okay. So what this thing comes with is that it comes with like a little military satchel and an eyepiece. It's I guess it's like interchangeable. Like I guess you get like an interchangeable head. Now, what's really cool about this is that it comes in white. Shiny, pristine white. And I actually really like this.
The white version does look a little bit better than. I'm sorry, I don't like Ripper. Ripper's like one of the weirdest.
Wait.
Astarios.
Wait, what?
The name of the Indoraptor is Ripper.
Oh, is that his actual name?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I actually didn't know he had a name.
Or that's a computer. I think that's what people have been calling him is Ripper.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know which one do you like better. I like both.
I
honestly.
do like the white. The white one looks much like it's should be what it's supposed to be, which is technically a derivative DNA of the Indominus Rex.
Yeah, I can see that. Like that looks pristine.
It does.
But then again, you can't go wrong with the classic black.
Oh, definitely not.
It's the same thing with the Indominus. So if we go to Nanmu, so what I think is weird is the pricing. So the white one is cheaper. So the white version is cheaper. So this is going to run you about $68. Just about, give or take. Now, this one's going to run you about $73. And I'm like looking over the stock footage and I'm like, what's the difference? Why is one more expensive than the other?
Paint job.
True. Yeah, because this one's just stark white, while the other one is like black with a bit of, with a hint of like yellow all over the place, orange. I can see that. So, so we go to Nanmu here. So let me scroll down. So then we have the Indominus. Hey JD, how are you doing? Yeah, so now we have the Indominus. And oh, does she look gorgeous. So here we have two different variants of it. So we have the tiger stripe version and then the regular version. Which one do you like? Personally, I'm more akin to the tiger stripe.
Same with the tiger stripe. I actually like it a little bit more. It feels like more like an actual natural animal compared to like what they did for the plain white. I'm not a big fan of this plain white. It bores the hell out of me.
I kind of like it. It has some charm, but like that's really, really nice.
It does. It looks like they took the Tyrannosaurus Rex DNA and mixed it with a raptor DNA from Isla Sorna.
Yeah, and it looks so sick. See, a bit tired, but I'm okay. How are you? Oh, I'm good. Right now, we're just yapping about toys and stuff like that, and we're just looking at the latest, like, dinosaur figure that's coming out. So I actually want to see something real quick, because they said it's going to be slightly bigger than their Vestato, so I'm going to take the Vestato here, and then I'm going to...
It is slightly bigger than the Vestato. It's about the same size as the Allosaurus from Creative Beasts.
Oh, is it like the is it like the larger Allo or the smaller Allo?
I think it's the larger Allo.
Okay, yeah, because here, like, I have the Vestato. Like, I have...
Same here.
And it's a decent size figure. For what it is. It's a decent size figure. So... to have that to be a little bit bigger, I'm very curious, but also I'm kind of sad.
Yeah, me too.
Because
But
I was kind of expecting it to be, like, Hammond collection size.
I was expecting it to be same here, because I was going to be like, I want to get this because I don't want to get... Because I know for a fact that the Hammond collection Indominus Rex is going to look hella weird if they do one.
They will. They will do the Indominus. It's just they've been basically like dodging the hybrids for a while.
Yeah.
Which is dumb. So, but like the white isn't bad either in this figure. The white's not bad. Like they actually did a pretty good job. But I'm getting the tiger stripe.
Same.
The other one that I wanted to bring up is this.
Oh, you're looking at all the new releases?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is something that was brought up like a while ago. So this is the Soul Mold dragon. And let me see if I can refresh that. Oh, that's just grainy stock footage. Okay, that's lovely. That's lovely. Okay. So here, my theory on Shrouded Nursilla Predator is Desert's Celtus Queen. Hear me out. It's larger than Nursilla, lives in the desert, can dig, and has a pincer tail, perfect to dig out Shrouded Nursilla. Lastly, weak to thunder. I mean, I could see that. What about you, Jay? What LK said?
It's a possibility because they do. The Desert Celtus Queen does live in the desert and is very hostile to Shrouded Nursillas, if I remember correctly. Problem is there's a lot of weird dinosaurs, not dinosaurs, goddamn, when I say dinosaurs, monsters from the desert that can fit that criteria a lot.
Yeah.
For all we know, because Celtus Queen, the reason why it uses electrical, uses Kezu. That's Celtus Queen. Shrouded uses Kezu hide is to be immune to ice. So whatever monster has ice powers is what we have to focus on.
Yeah. And with this, I've actually been really hyped for this kit for a while. So this is something that was shown on Shozy Store for like, or no, I'm sorry, not Shozy, Gundammit, for a hot while. In fact, let me see if I can actually, well, hang on, let me see if I can go to Gundammit real quick.
God damn it.
Well, Gundammit is the,
Gundam
and I also love the, I also love the name. It's the sister site for Shozy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here real quick. Let me actually sign out of my Shozy Store account so that way it doesn't dox me. Well, because that was like the last time that I tried to go on Shozy, and yeah, I accidentally like doxed myself for like a fraction of a second. Let me see here. So I think it's called Soul. It's like Soul Mold. Fuck it. Hang on real quick. Let me actually sign back in real quick. And then find the product and then just sign out. You see, everyone, Jay can see what my actual name is. But you can't.
To be honest, I'm not really paying attention to what you're doing.
That's fair. Yeah, I'm just gonna go on.
I tried to.
Huh?
I try to avoid snooping on people when they're doing something.
Oh no, like I don't care.
Understandable.
Okay, so that. Perfect. Okay, cool. So I want to show this off. So this is the Soul Mold like dragon set. So this has been kind of on Gundam for a while. Like I want to say like maybe a good couple of years. And they're finally coming out with like some actual like production shots of it to show you like more things about the kit. And it looks like it's going to be massive because you're both getting like a little anime girl and this big giant like mechanical dragon. And it looks gorgeous.
It does look good.
It looks really, really good. It kind of looks like a Zoid. In some weird capacity, it looks like
it's
a Zoid.
It's a strange organoid.
Yeah, it literally looks like a dragon organoid. But like, just the dragon alone just looks so gorgeous. I cannot wait to build this. I can already tell you it's gonna be. Hang on. Oh, I'm stuck in my teeth. But I can already tell like it's gonna be expensive, but I can also tell you it's gonna be big. It's gonna be a big boy. Right now, right.
Big buffer.
Oh, it's gonna be a big beefy dragon. Right now you can get it on Shozi, or not Shozi. I'm sorry, Gundam, but the pre-order deposit is $5. It's a $5 deposit. Now you can get it also on Big Bad Toy Store, but you're also paying for the full price with an $11 non-refundable deposit. So I'm guessing it's gonna be around $100 on Shozi. Not Shozi, Gundam. They just haven't dropped the final price yet. Now, it might be a little bit cheaper just because it's coming from China. But, you know, tariffs and all. So. And also, Jay, you missed out on me ranting about a Bionicle game that got canceled by a bunch of bigots.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the ones that was like the indie project one. I know which one you're referring to.
Yeah.
I was following the project for some time.
Okay.
It sucks. It terribly does.
It does. And I hate that bigots have to, come in and, fucking ruin everything. Because I was really looking forward to that. Especially since LEGO is literally doing nothing with the project or with the brand anyways. So it's like, what's the point? But yeah, so
yeah.
Unfortunately, this is where we're gonna have to end the stream for tonight. Because I got something that I have to attend to here in a little bit. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge to Jay. But yeah, so let me go ahead and find someone to raid real quick.
Nerds.
I am a nerd. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me see. Who do we want to raid tonight, actually? Whomst is on... You know what? Actually, you know what? Let me see something. What? I kind of want to raid a bigger person tonight. We always raid like friends and, you know, people on that level, but I kind of want to raid someone a little bit bigger tonight. I want to raid Sugi Aoki. She's got a very, very cute design. And she's just chatting. So that's going to be nice and cozy for us. So hopefully she doesn't have a stream, like a raid cap. Let me see here. Let's see. Uh-oh. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Let's do Sugi Aoki. And then I will see you all tomorrow for some more Stygian Outer Gods. Hopefully my stuff won't shit on me and lag the fuck out like last time. But until then, all of you amazing people, I'll catch you all later. And let's go say hi to Sugi.